everyone is searching for answers amid this tragedy and still searching for people in Texas. What we're also seeing is people latching onto a conspiracy that cloud seeding is what has caused the deadly floods that we saw play out last Friday. Cloud seeding, for people who don't know, is the process where a plane or a drone scatters tiny compounds into the sky to try to trigger rain or snow. The practice is sometimes used to create rain in dry areas. It generally produces minimal results, nothing like the 15 inches of that torrential rain that we saw hitting Kirk County on Friday. But that hasn't stopped what we've seen play out online, the spread of conspiracies surrounding the floods, including leading some lawmakers on the right to call for a ban on the process together. Look at what Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said today. She said that cloud seeding should be a felony offense and, quote, "We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering." Her bill to do that is co-sponsored by Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee.
People are saying we're conspiracy theorists, but you don't patent a conspiracy. And these things have been patented, they've been proven they do it. I'm big on God and just letting him work his magic, not people trying to play God.
My source tonight is Augustus Dorico, the founder of Rainmaker, which is a cloud seeding startup that carried out a job about 100 miles southeast of Kerr County 2 days before the July 4th storm. And it's great to have you here tonight because I want to give you a chance to respond to what we heard from those lawmakers. But just first, to give people a sense of what this has meant for you and for your employees, can you describe what the last few days have been like for you?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, my heart goes out to all of the people in Texas, particularly the families that were directly affected by the natural disaster. Even though cloud seeding had nothing to do with it, we can get into the details of that. People online have accused both me and Rainmaker of having caused the floods when cloud seeding unequivocally cannot induce precipitation, even nearly on the scale of what came from the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry. Most people that we've engaged with in good faith, trying to transparently share information with, have been very receptive, and to them, I'm grateful. I am praying for my family constantly. I'm praying for myself. There have been threats leveled against us, most of which I think are incredible. But I'm grateful to be on here tonight just to set the record straight and to clarify what cloud seeding can do so that people stop accusing Rainmaker and my family of having contributed to the floods.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't even know what cloud seeding is fully. I mean, some people certainly do, but meteorologists have said there's not a connection between these flash floods and what your company is doing. But can you just walk us through what you did do on July 2nd, just so people have an understanding of that?
Yeah, so first of all, cloud seeding is a real technology that was invented in the United States in the 40s. And the premise is that some clouds don't naturally precipitate because the water droplets within them stay too small to ever grow heavy enough to fall. What cloud seeding does is it flies drones or planes up into those clouds with non-precipitating water, releases a material called silver iodide, which has a crystalline structure similar to ice. The water then freezes onto those crystals, grows into big enough snowflakes such that they fall and either remain as snow or melt back into rain. This is a climate adaptation tool that we can use to restore ecosystems and preserve farms in drought-ridden areas that are suffering from decreases in precipitation over time. In Texas, we're contracted by multiple municipalities and also farms to produce more water for them in times of drought. And on July 2nd, we flew one 20-minute cloud seeding flight where we dispersed about 70 grams worth of silver iodide over tens of square miles into 2 different clouds. And it's worth saying as well, we disperse this material directly into the clouds. It's not dispersed just into the open air. After about 2 hours, those clouds dissipated entirely, and any of the material that we dispersed then would not have remained in the system such that it could have induced any additional precipitation by the time that the remnants of the tropical storm came in.
And obviously it was a huge storm, as we saw as a result of this. But so when you hear people and lawmakers, Congresswoman Greene says this should be banned, that it should be a felony. You saw Tim Burchett saying it wouldn't be patented if it was a conspiracy. When they accuse, and maybe not those two specifically, but when you are accused of engineering the weather and weather modification, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I think that this is a very consequential technology, right? Not just anybody should be allowed to modify the weather. There should be oversight and transparency. And so the reason why I'm grateful to be talking to you today, the reason why I've tried to be very public and transparent, is because I think that people have some earnest questions that are worth answering about what cloud seeding is and what it's not. That being said, when people are either trying to score points with certain portions of the electorate by making baseless accusations or fanning the flames of conspiracy, I think not only is that wrong, not only does that endanger people, not only does that distract from the real issues that we have at hand, but also it stands to deprive Americans of a technology that we could use as a climate adaptation tool to provide more water for farms, for ecosystems, for cities, and for industries that stand to lose if we don't produce more water for them via cloud seeding.
Augustus Dorico, it's great to have you on. I mean, because we've seen this everywhere, and so it's good to have your perspective. Thank you for joining tonight.
Next, we're actually going to be talking about, I don't know, it's a little bit of a weird story, but chemtrails. Conspiracy theorists believe they're real, claiming the federal government is spraying harmful chemicals into the sky to control the weather. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene believes in it, posting this just hours after the water levels in Texas began rising last week, saying, "I am introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather." That prompted new EPA boss Lee Zeldin to kind of gently debunk the conspiracy.
For years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on.
The EPA website makes it clearer, saying chemtrails are, quote, a term some people use to inaccurately claim contrails from air traffic are actually an intentional release of dangerous chemicals. Okay, bringing you guys back for two reasons. One, there is such thing as cloud seeding. Or there are several programs around the country, Utah, Colorado, where states are toying with this. But I'm interested in how the federal government tries to deal with conspiracy. And it felt like he was taking, you're nodding, it felt like he was taking a different approach than during the pandemic when everyone was just sort of like, you got to get rid of that, don't listen to those, don't listen to that, don't listen to that.
Let's put it up on the EPA website. So I am susceptible to conspiracy theories. Some of you know this. I was on the website this morning, and I will tell you, I don't think they make it clear enough. There needs to be like in big block red letters, this is a conspiracy theory. Don't have. But
that you heard what he said. He said something particular. He said, some people have been dismissed. I understand you will feel dismissed, and I'm here to meet you halfway.
But the reason he has to do that, why? Because so many on the right have embraced these conspiracy theories. We're seeing this also in a lot of the problems that the administration is facing in other conspiracy theories that are gaining traction. And so, you know, that is their demographic, and they're trying to say it is not crazy. However, this is the truth. I don't know that they're going to be very successful.
I'm sorry. Are we dismissing a level-headed response to a conspiracy theory
I'm
that
saying
should
it's
be
a good
debunked?
Response.
Yes, and we should be happy that Zeldin and the EPA are addressing it this way. I mean, I actually think if we had a little bit more of this level of honesty and meeting people halfway, to use your language, during COVID, I think a lot of these conspiracy theories about vaccines and all of this could have been put to bed. But instead, we stiff-armed people. I mean, this is a breath of fresh air to me.
It's going to work, though? Do you think it's
hold on.
I hope so,
Because the consequences are very real. I want to play something for you. The CEO of Rainmaker Technologies, as I mentioned, cloud seeding. He's a leader of a cloud seeding company. And he's talking about the effect on his life as people start to kind of gin up these theories.
I am praying for my family constantly. I'm praying for myself. There have been threats leveled against us, most of which I think are incredible. But I'm grateful to be on here tonight just to set the record straight and clarify what cloud seeding can do so that people stop accusing Rainmaker and my family of having contributed to the floods.
You know, it's interesting. More than anything else, if the administration would just simply have a consistent response to some of these things, I think that would put to bed some of the conspiracy theories. I think what Lulu was getting at was this hubbub over the Jeffrey Epstein files. And yes, it's rooted in conspiracy theories, but part of the problem is that the Attorney General was sort of flip-flopped on how she's talked about it. There are facts and truth in all sorts of stories, whether it's chemtrails or Jeffrey Epstein. And if you just say, this is not true, and we're not going to give this air, or maybe this actually is true, and here's the information to demonstrate that it is, you go with it. But I think they've had this ham-fisted response to a lot of these conspiracy theories because of some of the voices in the base that really do believe it.